Hello and welcome to the 2024 NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Selection Show. My name is Jeremiah Johnson. It is an honor and privilege to be with you today to show you the 64 schools that will compete in this tournament and to see their path to a championship. Now, the goal for each school to play in Columbus, Ohio, March 14th through the 16th, to cut down the nets at the Capitol Center Performance Arena. For this year's event, 42 conferences have been awarded automatic qualification to the championship. There is one berth reserved for Pool B, and the final 21 spots in the bracket are at-large bids. We will begin play this coming weekend. Games on March 1st and 2nd with 16 schools hosting pods of 4 teams each. Now, Division III basketball fans are so appreciative of the coverage all season long provided by D3Hoops.com. This day, a little bit like Christmas morning for Dave McHugh of D3Hoops.com and the Hoopsville podcast. I know you were busy over the weekend projecting the field, analyzing the conference tournaments. What are your opening thoughts before we get to the bracket?
Well, like you said, Christmas morning, I was up late last night, maybe putting some gifts wrapped up and putting them under the tree, and then being woken up early this morning because everybody wants to know what they're opening. So, yeah, I feel a little bit tired. So if Christmas seems apropos, I think it's interesting on the women's side this year. You've got a lot of dominating teams that have really kind of controlled their conferences and the national conversation at the top. But I don't think there's any guarantees that they're going to get even to the Final Four or championships based on more parity in Division III women's basketball and a lot of transfers and graduate students. I think we have a deeper field than we've had in a long time. And really, I don't think it's wide open, but it's certainly as close as we've had in a long time.
Should be a great tournament and a great show. We're looking forward to your expertise as we go through the bracket. We'll begin in the left-hand corner, top of the bracket, if you're going to fill one out, where we see one of 4 undefeated teams in the bracket. Yes, the first school to recognize 25-0 NYU, champions of the University Athletic Association regular season and, of course, the conference tournament. They scored 1,149 points in UAA games this season, breaking the one-season record set by WashU during the 2000-2001 campaign. Coach Meg Barber wanted her team to savor this perfect season, saying, Monday we turn the page to hopefully make more history together, but tonight we will enjoy reflecting on all of the amazing accomplishments. A magical weekend for Millsap's first NCAA appearance since 1996. The party likely still ongoing after a first Southern Athletic Association championship on Sunday. The league's player of the year in the regular season made sure this season would not end on Sunday. Haley Franklin scored 35 points, matched a career high. Franklin added 9 rebounds for Millsaps. The host of this 4-team set, DeSale's 6th consecutive MAC Freedom title. It's the school's 17th NCAA appearance, dominating the MAC Freedom title game, holding Arcadia to just 45 points, just 13 in the first half. Michaela Reese scored 19 in the win. Another senior, Megan Beeler, named the tournament most valuable player. Southern Virginia made its first NCAA appearance in 2022, 2 years later, in the bracket for a second time, and no doubt in the clincher, a 69-41 victory against North Carolina Wesleyan. Shout out to Allison Newman, 24 points in that AQ clinching victory. Moving on, Mary Hardin-Baylor makes the field, ranked number 1 in the most recent Region 10 rankings. Mary Hardin-Baylor can celebrate seeing the name on the screen in the field of 64. Their first round opponent is Trinity, Texas. 4 consecutive SCAC championships for the Tigers after a 63-57 win against Colorado College. Natalie Anderson leads the team in scoring, averaging 18.8 points per game. It's the 14th NCAA appearance for the school. Congratulations to the quotable head coach, Cameron Hill, and the Tigers. The school here, we will next see the host school is Hardin-Simmons, who won Saturday its 8th American Southwest Conference Championship, 2nd in 3 years, 86-76 over Mary Hardin-Baylor. Senior Samantha Tatum, 26 points, while Paris Palmer was named most valuable player of the tournament. This is the highest scoring team in Division III, over 85 points per game. You're seeing some of the highlights on your screen. Hardin-Simmons is 3rd in the country in 3-pointers made per game. Their first opponent, Occidental. The SCIAC tournament champions headed to the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time, first since 2011. Fantastic performance in the title game by Toni Thompson. 25 points, 13 rebounds. She ranks 5th in all of Division III in scoring. So we'll bring Dave in 8 times during this bracket reveal, get the analysis of 8 teams at a time. What stands out to you about the games to be played at DeSales and Hardin-Simmons?
There's actually a lot to unpack here. First off, NYU is one of the more dominating teams we've seen all season. Got through the UAA unscathed. They're not hosting because the men's team is hosting. Men have priority in even-numbered years, but they're being treated as the top team in the bracket, though a tough matchup with Millsaps. By the way, surprise here. Millsaps is being flown by the national committee to DeSales. So that was a little bit of a twist here. Interesting setup. DeSales gets to host, though NYU is technically the top seed in this grouping, and Southern Virginia will be a tough squad for DeSales, who that's a game I don't think you want to overlook. By the way, Texas pod here. We thought maybe they could fly one of these teams out and try and do some other things here. They don't. They're hosting it at Hardin-Simmons. That should be noted because Millsaps would have had to fly to Hardin-Simmons. They could have busted Mary Hardin-Baylor. So the committee's trying to respect Hardin-Simmons in this case. Certainly appreciate that. Though tough matchup for Mary Hardin-Baylor and Trinity, Texas right out of the gate. Cameron Hill's team, by the way, basically restarted from scratch at midseason, and it has worked. Occidental coming out of the SCIAC has to go to Hardin-Simmons. That's a tough matchup, but Oxy's a good team. I look forward to seeing that game played out on Friday.
Great work, Dave. We will continue. The next team to see its name on the screen on this show is Scranton. It almost wouldn't be a tournament without Scranton, the automatic qualifier out of the Landmark Conference. You see their highlights, 36th NCAA appearance. They do not allow points easily, 5th in the nation in scoring defense. Scranton will host Framingham State, best season in program history with a 24-2 record. Seniors Flannery O'Connor and Gwendolyn Carpenter lead the way. O'Connor second in the program's all-time scoring list, the MASCAC tournament most valuable player, 14 rebounds in a 12-point win against Bridgewater State. Carpenter is the program leader in assists. She leads the nation with 7.4 assists per game. Moving on, happy Monday to the team from Marymount. They finished the regular season 10-0 in conference play, the automatic qualifier representing the Atlantic East Conference. Marymount beat conference opponents by an average points of 23.6 per game. Samantha Shackelford and Chandler Edelton each scored their 1,000th career point at one point during this regular season. Ohio Northern is in. How about this line from the school's women's basketball Twitter account? They tried to write us off, but we ain't right back. Hashtag back-to-back. 11th NCAA appearance in the Ohio Athletic Conference Tournament. Bryn Serban, most valuable player, and Chloe Glenn was named to the all-tournament team. Johns Hopkins is here for a third straight season, 14th time in program history. A loss to Gettysburg in the Centennial Conference Championship, nothing to be ashamed of. The Blue Jays brought an impressive 24-3 record now into the tournament. They finished 18-1 in Centennial play. Congratulations to Marietta, an at-large selection, fourth time in the tournament for the Pioneers. Paige Tolson and Olivia Gribble are the double-figure scorers, while Hannah Schill leads the team in assists. Congratulations to Marietta. Now, the star on the screen means a host institution is next. For the 24th time in school history, Christopher Newport is in the tournament, the school's 5th consecutive coast-to-coast athletic conference title. Hannah Kaloy, the leading scorer, she was named the most valuable player of the conference tournament. Also recognize Olivia Giles and Gabby San Diego. They were named to that coast-to-coast athletic conference all-tournament team. Their opponent in round one will be Mount St. Vincent. The Dolphins prevailed in the Skyline Conference Championship, a 63-42 win against Manhattanville after scoring 19 points in the championship. Amber Bean was named Skyline Tournament MVP. It's the second NCAA appearance in program history for the school. The best part of the show, seeing your name on the screen. The second is hearing from Dave McHugh. Do you like last year's runner-up, 26-1 Christopher Newport's chances to make a deep run?
Yeah, they always are. They're one of the toughest teams to play year in and year out. Now you got to deal with them at home in the opening round where they've wanted to be for a number of years. Yeah, this is a tough task for Mount St. Vincent in this one. On the other side, they got Johns Hopkins and Marietta. This is interesting enough, a matchup or a pod which went to Johns Hopkins 2 years ago when Christopher Newport couldn't host because of their men's team. Johns Hopkins, under first-year head coach Rodney Rogan, has to travel to Christopher Newport, unfortunately, probably because they lost in the Centennial title game once again to Gettysburg, and they're going to get a tough matchup in Marietta, who I think's a little bit undersung. They haven't stood out this year. They are a very difficult team. And then we go to the top of this group. Scranton, likely now the top team in Region 5 after being fourth in the rankings in week number 2. Their conference helped kind of move them up into this hosting spot. But Framingham State is a difficult first-round battle. Royals fans, I'm warning you now, do not overlook this Rams squad at all. And then Marymount and Ohio Northern. Saw Ohio Northern in Las Vegas this year, and I was pretty impressed for a team I thought didn't think, as you point out in the Twitter account, many thought would be in this conversation, and they're going to take on Marymount. That's a great little first-round game, and then an even better, fascinating second-round matchup there in Scranton.
Great info, Dave. Just 4 losses combined in that Scranton-Framingham State game. That should be fantastic. 1/4 of the way through this field, we will see another host institution. It is Wisconsin Whitewater, 22-4, no doubt deserving of this at-large selection after falling to UW Stout in the conference semifinal. Twice a national runner-up, 22nd time in the tournament. Aaliyah Grundle averages 20.2 points per game for the Warhawks, who again will host action this upcoming weekend. A fantastic Monday to Minnesota Morris in the bracket for the first time since 2015. The Cougars had to earn the spot, winning on the home court of the number 1 seed in the conference tournament, Wisconsin Superior, in that 69-60 victory. Maddie Grove finished with 18 points. Shelby Mortensen added 17 and 7 rebounds off the bench. Milliken is in, 17th time in school history, the 2005 national champions, and at-large selection after putting together a successful 22-5 campaign. Keep an eye on Elise Knudsen, the second leading scorer in all of Division III, averaging 25.8 points per game. Another at-large selection, one I saw the Hoosville crew discussing last night when analyzing who would get in. It is Willamette. Go crazy, Bearcats. Your first NCAA appearance. Carolyn Ho is the conference defensive player of the year. Peg Swadner, the coach of the year for the second time. Congratulations to Willamette. The next school to recognize is Hope, also an at-large selection. Their bid for a 5th straight MIAA tournament title was thwarted by Trine over the weekend, but the team that was ranked number 1 in the most recent Region 7 rankings does get an at-large spot in the field. Sydney Viz is Hope's leading scorer with 12 points per game. It's the 24th appearance for the 3-time national champions. Ripon plays Hope, their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2022. It's the 4th time in school history for the Redhawks, who have won both the regular season and the conference tournament titles, led by Ella Tenpass, the 11 double-doubles on the season. She just broke the school record for single-season rebounds with 241. DePaul won the North Coast Athletic Conference tournament on its home court. They'll host action again this weekend in the tournament for a 23rd time. An automatic qualifier, an exciting 56-53 win against Ohio Wesleyan. Ava Hassel named Tournament Most Valuable Player. Riley Mont's all-around game was on display. 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Congratulations to the Tigers. Berea will travel to Greencastle, Indiana. They are 24-3 and a Pool B spot in the field. Back-to-back Collegiate Conference of the South tournament titles. You see DePaul hosting those games March 1st and 2nd. So, Dave, you see 8 more teams, some at-large spots taken by teams who are maybe a little bit nervous today. What does this mean for these teams and maybe the rest of the bracket?
Yeah, definitely some bubbles kind of getting a little fragile out there as Willamette gets into this tournament. One, as you point out, we were discussing last night. I kind of appreciate that the committee respected their Division III resume. They did have a lot of games out of Division III, but they did have a strong Division III resume. They're playing at Wisconsin Whitewaters is interesting too, because they're sending a Northwest Conference team out to Whitewater. Whitewater and Minnesota Morris, by the way, neighboring states, have played once against each other. It was last year, and they played it in California. So your guess, honestly, is good as mine as to how this matchup may fare out. Willamette and Milliken, I love this matchup. I think this is going to be one of the better first-round games to watch. Hope not hosting because it's been a little bit of an unhope-like season, losing 3 times. But the best coach in the business is in charge of Hope. Brian Morehouse got to 700 wins faster than any other coach in NCAA history, men's or women's basketball combined. Think about that for a second. They'll take on that Ripon squad. Probably a little bit of an unknown for Hope. They've never really faced off against one another. DePaul, Chris Huffman's a great coach. She'll have a good team there. But Berea is kind of the unknown, too. Coming out of a Pool B with no automatic bid, not really sure what's going on. Last time these programs faced, 1999.
The final 8 teams on the left side begins with a host school. Happy days for Carroll, Wisconsin. Program record 23 wins, first bid since 2007. Quite the 1-2 punch with Natalie Gricius and Olivia Rangel. Gricius scores 31 points in that win against Illinois Wesleyan. Moving on, Puget Sound is in thanks to an exciting 61-57 victory over Pacific Oregon. The Northwest Conference automatic qualifier last competed in this prestigious event back in 2017. Would not be a tournament without Wash U, right? With a 17-8 record, 10-4 in conference play, earning an at-large spot, a powerhouse program, 33rd appearance, 5 national titles, last coming in 2010. They will take on Wisconsin Stout, automatic qualifier representing the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. First tournament title for the school since 2007 in a 12-point win against Wisconsin Oshkosh. Reagan Sorensen led the way with 21 points and 13 rebounds, 14th double-double of the season in the tournament for the 10th time in program history. Emory is in 19-6 and at large, number 2 in the most recent Region 6 ranking. Second straight season, 6th time overall for Emory in the tournament. And that first round game will be against Ohio Wesleyan. Should be a dandy. Another at-large spot taken by the battling Bishops. They lost a hard-fought game to DePauw, but living to play another day this upcoming weekend. That Emory-Ohio Wesleyan game will be played at Transylvania. Your defending national champion, unbeaten in the regular season, 3 straight years. Dacia Thornton, Lakin Ball, and Kennedy Stacy are active members of the program's 1,500 rebound club. They tied DePauw's 58-game win streak that was set between 2012 and 2014. Number 1 in the nation in defense, allowing just 42 points per game. Chatham has the challenge of trying to take down the champs. First President's Athletic Conference title and corresponding AQ spot. First NCAA appearance, undefeated at home this season. 13-0, Ashley Loudon scored 23 points in a win against Geneva. Dave, 32 teams know their fate, and their opponent from this group, Transylvania, looks like a little bit of a standout. What do you think?
Yeah, Transylvania certainly, I think, actually feels once again undersung. They have been a team that was undersung last year on the way to a national championship. They're kind of being treated as the second best team in the nation, once again undefeated. They have only lost once at the Beck Center since 2020. It was in the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament. They are a tough team, and I don't think fully appreciated. Chatham's got a tough matchup there. Ohio Wesleyan really makes some bubbles a little bit fragile here for those who think they may be or have a chance of getting into the NCAA tournament. Ohio Wesleyan was one of those we were debating at the very end. Emory, their logical place was to go to Transylvania, so you could have a really interesting second-round matchup there. Up into that upper left-hand corner, Puget Sound heading to Wisconsin. That's 2 Northwest Conference teams going to Wisconsin for games. That shows you the committee was really trying to be as creative as they could be, and they didn't create a Northwest pod. They literally sent those teams out. And then WashU Stout, that's a game I'm kind of intrigued by. Stout knocked off 2 heavyweights to get to the NCAA tournament, and WashU survived the UAA. Those are battle-tested teams. It's going to be a really good first-round game.
Halfway home, 32 more teams to show you, along with the expert analysis from Dave McHugh after this short timeout on NCAA.com.
If you're not here for Fandom 101, you're in the wrong class. Here, we learn the fundamentals of fanology, the basics of bringing the noise, and the physics of bringing out. Your path to fan mastery begins here. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
Dave McHugh just took a 30-second coffee break. We have a lot of business to get to. He's full of energy, so let's jump right back into the right side of the bracket. And we will start at the top, where Bowdoin is a host institution this weekend. 14th appearance in the NESCAC title game turned into a 10th NESCAC title, first since 2020, thanks to a 66-56 win against Bates. The top individual performer in that game, Sidney Jones, 15 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. 3 times a national runner-up, 21st time in the tournament for Bowdoin. They will take on Western New England in round 1. 3rd time in program history to be in the bracket. The Commonwealth Coast Conference champions, thanks to a 1-point win against the University of New England over the weekend. Despite a loss to Rhode Island College, UMass Dartmouth in as an at-large, their second appearance, the other coming back in 2017. Carly Whiteside leads the team in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. The final team that will compete this weekend at Bowdoin is New Jersey City. The headline on the New Jersey City women's basketball page reads, Dynasty, third NJAC title in 4 years. Plenty for the Gothic Knights to celebrate, taking down the conference's top seed, TCNJ, 65-52 in the championship. Second appearance in school history. Congratulations to Coach Pat Devaney Sr. and team. Moving on, terrific season for Trinity, Connecticut, in as an at-large selection. Fourth time in the tournament, second straight. Senior Riley Campbell leads the team in scoring with nearly 15 points per game and 8.5 rebounds a contest. Baldwin Wallace, 20-6, another at-large selection, 18th NCAA appearance. They are 18-16 all-time in the tournament. Time to say hello to another host school. It's SUNY New Paltz, a determined team avenging a loss in last year's SUNYAC final on its home floor. They were motivated to get back and finish the deal, defeating SUNY Geneseo 52-47, locking up the conference's AQ spot, 8th trip to the tournament in program history. Penn State Harrisburg is in, and they knew it after capturing the first United East championship in school history, their first NCAA tournament berth after a 64-54 win over St. Elizabeth on Saturday. Dave, are you ready to go? You had your coffee. What do you think of these 8 teams?
Yeah, this is great. Bowdoin hosting. They're basically being treated as one of the top 4 teams in the tournament. Sidney Jones, the one to watch in this for this team, I should say. Best in the conference in scoring, rebounds, assists, and steals. Maybe some other things we haven't even looked up. Megan Phelps' team could go on a run, but they've got a tough matchup here in Western New England. They're into the tournament after a battle, 14 battle in the Triple C. I don't think that's as easy a game as many people would think there. Bowdoin's got a tough one there. UMass Dartmouth and New Jersey City, that's just going to be a matchup of 2 very different styles. New Jersey City is just going to have to figure out how to get up I-95, then the I-84 corridor, and get all the way to Maine. That could wear them out a little bit. Trinity, Connecticut out of the NESCAC, another really good team. Bantams will be traveling to New Paltz. I kind of love that decision there. And playing Baldwin Wallace, who, listen, Sherry Harrah's team is always ready. They may have lost 2 games at the end of the season, but that does not mean that they are not going to be a tough matchup there for Trinity. And SUNY New Paltz, hats off. Great season for them, getting the SUNYAC title, getting the chance to host, and getting a team in Penn State Harrisburg, which is a winnable game for them. But hats off also to the Lions, as you point out, getting out of the mega large UEC. This is a fascinating little group of 8.
Thank you, Dave. More matchups to discuss and teams to show you. We will start now with Wisconsin Oshkosh. Head coach Brad Fisher became the winningest coach in program history back in November. Wisconsin Oshkosh has now recorded 20 win-plus seasons in each of the last 11 seasons, all under Fisher. Casey Vale leads the league in rebounds. Kennedy Osterman leads the league with 57 steals and a field goal percentage of 90. Webster has a perfect 27-0 record. Looking forward to that first-round matchup at Oshkosh. The automatic qualifier representing the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Association. The Gorlocks defeated Westminster, Missouri 71-56. Julie Bodensteel named Tournament Most Valuable Player. Congratulations, and what a season for Webster. Gustavus Adolphus is in, 25-2, the automatic qualifier out of the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. This is their 10th NCAA appearance. A terrific season for Trine, in for the 7th time in program history, 7th straight, 63-59, a win against Hope in the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association tournament. Sydney Wagner scored her 1,000th career point in the title game. What a win for Trine. Shenandoah makes the tournament, 5th appearance, still looking for its first win in NCAA play. Again, only 21 at-large berths, and Shenandoah takes one of those. They'll face Messiah first day of March. 22-5 is their record. At-large spot after dropping the MAC Commonwealth Championship game. Morgan Adams and Reese Harden each average over 15 points per game. Smith is in and hosting action this weekend. The new MAC automatic qualifier, thanks to a win against Babson on Sunday, 4th consecutive title. Jessie Ruffner named Tournament Most Outstanding Player for the 3rd time in her career, ranked 1st in the nation in field goal percentage. 3 1,000-point scorers this season. Ruffner, Ali Yamada, and Sophia Rosa. Congratulations to Smith. A big-time challenge for Maine Maritime, traveling to Smith for the opener. Automatic qualifier representing the North Atlantic Conference thanks to a 78-62 win against SUNY Cobleskill. So Maine Maritime will be at Smith. Dave, our eyes immediately focused on those host schools, Wisconsin Oshkosh and Smith. What are their chances of advancing?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good, but those are not easy quads. Oshkosh against Webster, who's undefeated. We don't know a lot about Webster because their schedule doesn't give us a lot of information, but they played Whitewater tough in last year's first round, and the year before that nearly knocked off Mary Hardin Baylor. So Oshkosh should be focused quite squarely on the Gorlocks. Being at home will certainly be an advantage. Gustavus Adolphus and Trine, darn good first round matchup, and that I don't think guarantees Oshkosh can get out of this weekend. I think either one of those two teams is capable of beating the Titans. Then down in that lower corner, Smith's really good. Just barely missed out on the national title last year. I think they've actually got a tough game in Maine Maritime there. Forgive the pun, but I think the Mariners could make waves in the opening weekend, and a win over Smith would not be surprising to me. Shenandoah, buzzer beater in the ODAC championship game to bolster their resume. They fell short in that title game, but they certainly deserve to be here. And Messiah just hasn't been as dominating. That's why they're pretty much on the road here. That's another kind of up in the air first round game, and I think Smith could have a little bit of a challenge getting out of themselves.
Dave McHugh, he's here all day, folks. 3/4 of the way through the field. Bates is in, hosting games this weekend. The 6th 20-win season in program history. First since 2004-2005, earning an at-large spot in the field. A great defensive team, tallying a NESCAC leading 141 blocks in 24 games and the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the conference. Morgan Kennedy is the team's leading scorer, just under 14 points per game. Brooklyn will play at Bates, a 72-54 win in the CUNYAC Championship. Sweet for first-year head coach Megan Campbell, former Brooklyn player and assistant first-year head coach. I enjoyed her conversation on the Hoopsville Selection Sunday show with Dave this past weekend. Erica James, Alina Estrella averaging over 12 points per game. They are third in the nation in rebounds per game. It's been another spectacular season for Springfield in at-large selection. The Pride earned a share of the NEWMAC regular season title for the first time since 2014, reached 22 wins in a season for the second time in the last 3 years. Angela Sharema has a single season program record for rebounds in a year with 318, 10th nationally in total rebounds. Naomi Graves, 33rd season coaching Springfield College, 585 wins on her resume. They'll face Widener, 6th time to see their name in this field, an automatic qualifier out of the Middle Atlantic Conference Commonwealth. The next set of 4 teams, another at-large. Illinois Wesleyan, 5th highest scoring team in the country, anxiously watching the program, hoping and getting that at-large bid. The 2012 national champions in the field for the 15th time in program history. And their reward, a first-round game against yet another at-large, 20-5, Concordia Moorhead, the 1988 national champions, 20th NCAA appearance. The Cobbers thrilled to be playing again this weekend after falling in the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference title game to Gustavus Adolphus. The host here is Wartburg. The Knights will represent the America Rivers Conference in the tournament. They beat Loras 57-51 Saturday, ensuring a 17th NCAA appearance. Twice Wartburg has advanced to the national semifinals. Wisconsin Lutheran is in. The message on the team's social media page over the weekend read, "If you haven't heard, your Warriors are going dancing." A 66-42 win on the home court against St. Norbert. That clinches a 12th appearance in program history. Dave, what stands out to you about these 8 teams?
One thing about Bates getting a chance to host, which is pretty cool, especially 30 minutes down the road from Bowdoin, who will also be hosting. I love this little note about Bates. They have a trio and head coach Allison Montgomery, who played for and coached under former Bowdoin head coach Adrian Scheibels. Montgomery's now coaching Scheibels' daughter, Elisa Delario, who's a sophomore, and Scheibels, she's now the associate AD at Bates. That trio has helped the Bobcats become a dangerous team. I love Megan Campbell and Brooklyn Bulldogs, but they've got a tough battle there at Bates. Springfield Widener, this is just a wonderful out-of-region matchup there up in Bates. I really dig it. Illinois Wesleyan in, but the Cobbers of Concordia Moorhead, a second team from the MIAC that well-deserved for the conference and for that team. Wartburg and Wisconsin Lutheran. I'm warning you now, Wartburg. Wisconsin Lutheran is known for upsets in the first round or any round in the NCAA tournament. Wartburg has got to be focused or they are not going to have a long stay, even at home.
Dave McHugh calling his shot there for that Wartburg, Wisconsin Lutheran game. 8 to go. Most of these teams are automatic qualifiers. Still some anxious moments right now. Washington and Lee not nervous. A fourth straight season seeing its name in this field here after a high-scoring, action-packed 89-80 win against Shenandoah. Don't mess with the Generals on the glass. They're the number 2 rebounding team in Division III. Also strong perimeter defense, 5th in the country in three-point percentage defense. Vassar is in. The Brewers, the Liberty League champions. Lockdown D, the key in a 44-32 win against Skidmore. Individually, Tova Gelb contributed 18 points and 16 rebounds. MVP, Vassar's first Liberty League championship since 2014. Catholic will play at Washington Lee this weekend, an at-large spot. 6th NCAA appearance, the highest scoring team in the Landmark Conference with a record of 25-2, 75 points per game as a team. Keegan Douglas leads the way with over 14 per contest. Penn State Behrend is in. Automatic qualifier representing the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference. It's the school's 4th NCAA appearance, first since 2004. The Lions beat La Roche 73-54 in Saturday's championship behind 29 points from Morgan Altavilla. Great job, Gettysburg. Automatic qualifier representing the Centennial Conference, 11th NCAA appearance, 4th in the nation in three-point percentage. That gives Gettysburg a chance in each and every game. Shania Lee named the tournament most valuable player. She had 17 rebounds in that title game against Johns Hopkins. A super season for St. John Fisher continues, the 8th Empire 8 title in school history, sending them to the NCAA tournament. Sydney Tommaso named tournament most valuable player, 21 points, playing 39 minutes in the final. I mentioned off the top, there are 4 undefeated teams entering this tournament. Rhode Island College is one of those, 27-0, 4th straight Little East Conference tournament title for the Anchor Women. 67-52 the win over UMass Dartmouth. Madison Medbury named most outstanding player in that league tournament. And last but not least, St. Joseph's, Maine, back-to-back Great Northeast Conference championships for St. Joseph's, Maine. 85-72 the win against St. Joseph, Connecticut, puts the Monks in the field. 7th time in program history. And talk about taking care of the basketball while taking care of business. A team record, just 4 turnovers in Saturday's championship. Angelica Hurley named most valuable player. So Dave, we only ended up having 1 at-large team in this final group of 8. That's Catholic. A lot of the drama was earlier in the bracket.
Yeah, it was a little bit earlier in the drama. In the bracket for sure on the drama. But interesting enough, Washington Lee hosting here. I'm kind of curious. We'll find out later tonight if W&L earned that thanks to a win in the ODAC championship game, or Catholic, who was supposed to host, couldn't because the men are hosting and they moved it to W&L, though Catholic lost in their conference championship game. So this very well, the way the bracket's designed, looks like W&L may have earned this. W&L had a tremendous season. Sophomore Mary Schlesinger had 36 points, 29 rebounds in that overtime win in the ODAC title game. They are a good team, but Vassar is very good as well. That's not an easy first-round matchup. Catholic, I think, is on a mission. Penn State Behrend may just be in their way, though I know Penn State Behrend wants to maybe prove some skeptics wrong. Gettysburg, Shania Lee, you point out her 17 rebounds in that title game. She had back-to-back double-doubles in that conference tournament and 7 blocks in that game against Hopkins to help a surging Gettysburg women's team who has been on a tear in the second 2/3 of the season get into the NCAA tournament. I love the matchup with St. John Fisher. That is 2 huge unknowns. And then Rhode Island College, I said early in the season that they were going to kind of revamp how everyone has to get through New England. Now, Bowdoin has changed that equation a little bit, but still, you got to get through Rhode Island College, one of the top 4 teams in this bracket, and St. Joseph's, Maine is going to be the first team to try and make it happen.
Dave, again, last year we saw Transylvania and Christopher Newport play in the championship. If they both put a strong run together, they would meet in a national semifinal. Hate to put you on the spot, but that's what you're here for. What teams are on your short list of legitimate title contenders?
Well, you can't look past the undefeateds. NYU, Transylvania, and Rhode Island College have absolutely dominated this year and played extremely good basketball. They've got to be on your short list. But there's some like Bowdoin and Bates and Christopher Newport who are also going to be not a surprise, but certainly have a play in all of this. And we may even go deeper than that on who could end up being in the Final Four. But I don't think you can overlook NYU, Rhode Island College, Bowdoin, and Transylvania at least. They are the top 4 in this bracket. They're legitimately the top 4 in the tournament. And I think those 4 are going to dictate a lot of how this tournament breaks out.
That's a great list. Once again, thank you for your hard work all season, Dave McHugh. Good luck in covering the craziness of the next 3 weeks. D3Hoops.com and the Hoopsville podcast. Must watch and listen content for D3 basketball fans. Thank you, Dave. All games except the semifinals and final will be played on the campuses of competing institutions. First round action gets underway this weekend. Second round winners will advance to one of 4 sectional sites March 8th through the 9th. The semifinals and final will be conducted at the Capitol Center Performance Arena in Columbus, Ohio, hosted by Capital University. We thank you so much for watching the 2024 NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Selection Show. Good luck to all of the teams starting this weekend.
If you're not here for Fandom 101, you're in the wrong class. Here, we learn the fundamentals of fanology, the basics of bringing the noise, and the physics of bringing it out. Your path to fan mastery begins here. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.